Greetings, National Security Council. I would like to share some things which I have discovered. Since 1996, I've been targeted, and it started after a murder investigation of a U.S. Air Force pilot named Mike Brady. I volunteered to take a polygraph test by the local sheriff's department, and I passed it. I also allowed to search my residence because they swore the weapon was there and there was no way I could have hit it. And since then, I have been a target. I have dealt with members of the CIA since I've been a young man. When I was younger, I made mistakes. And when I was around 21 years old, I started getting more into like Christianity, Buddhism, and I changed my life. But I ran into an obstacle, and this obstacle is the CIA and other interagency partners. And I have moved from different states, and I have letters of support. I have even people on my street which will tell you that they were informed that I was a registered sex offender, that I was a terrorist. And I have videos showing harassment by groups of people in schools that drive black SUVs, wear thin black ties. They like to whistle in people's faces, harass them, and outsource to LGBT, transgender, Israelis, women-owned businesses, large groups, VFW, American Legion, the national security partners. And these are groups that I respect, the American Legion and VFW, because both of my grandfathers fought and served and took a bullet for this country. But what's sad is that they are people which are being conditioned to believe that it's okay to harass Americans and utilize stingray technology, transnational repression, slander, false reports. And I have proof that agencies are making false reports. It's on video. There's no way it can be disputed. It actually shows these people lying when people request help. And it shows these people writing false reports that do not match the situation because they want to conceal these programs. There are police being used. There are DHS partners being used. There are Citizens Corps partners, regional councils which can be outsourced through the CIA. I have videos showing the CIA, U.S. Army Psychological Warfare Unit, Special Activities Division being used for operations in our communities, targeting people which have no money, have no wife, have no kids, which are leaving schools because they're being told they're a terror threat, which are leaving neighborhoods because they're being told they're a pedophile, being harassed by women driving black SUVs with a carload of kids with no tag, harassing them, whistling in their face in restaurants, stores, and tracking them via stingray technology. Now, there is a CIA presence in Winter Garden, Florida, in the outskirts and surrounding areas of Fort Lauderdale. I've documented this activity in Lakeland, Florida, and in every single state and every county I've moved to. These people flag the person, they use emergency management resources and slander the target, and I have video proof of them making false reports which can be verified, where a person's just getting gas and they're reporting a terror threat or a dangerous person that's unarmed, non-combative, and which has clearly requested that the U.S. federal government investigate these agencies. I'm on the verge of looking at declaring political asylum, maybe in Russia or Cuba over this. It's that bad. I've had to leave schools. I've had to leave communities over this stuff. I have videos where kids have harassed me, neighbors, which are all veterans, and they're all tied to veterans groups. This is no way to live. I'm not a suicidal person. I'm not a homicidal person. I don't hear voices. I'm very coherent. I'm not a delusional person. I have video proof of everything that I'm talking about. So I hope that the National Security Council will investigate these matters because it's really sick. Now, prior to moving here to Florida, I lived in Texas, and I had a stack of papers from court subject matter experts talking about this activity and reviewing my information. And one of my relatives worked for the DEA in Puerto Rico, and he stated I was dealing with the CIA. He passed away now, so I can share this. So I have some documentation, which is pretty damaging. But I'm not putting it out there because I have to live here. And also, when I leave, I don't want to have to deal with this again. So I'm not putting it out there. But I want to let you guys know that what's occurring is really wrong. that this is happening to people that are sleeping in their cars, living with their families, that have gotten divorced, they've been slandered out of jobs. You know what it is to go to work and be mobbed by the whole entire group and threatened with assault? That actually happened to me. To be slandered at work as a pedophile, to be slandered as a terrorist at work, and to be threatened by groups of people. And there are memos which state that DHS and other agencies can go into communities and inform people that this person is a terrorist, this person is a pedophile, when there's no factual evidence. This happened to a FBI target that did not want to be an informant for the FBI. They slandered him as a pedophile to his family and friends and neighbors, destroyed this man's life. They didn't care if he committed suicide. They didn't care what happened to him. What's occurring here is very disgusting. I've made mistakes in life. I've paid my price. I've done nothing but try to go to school after school to leave over threats. At one school, I was threatened with a car bombing. Another school, I'm harassed by a guy that's U.S. Air Force, ex-U.S. Army with a knife. The sheriffs allowed him to keep the butcher knife on his side. Classmates would shake next to this guy, and they would ask me, do you know why this guy's terrorizing you? So I can't figure out what's going on. The only thing I know is that our federal government is documented. The National Security Agency has been documented slamming phones. The FBI, Department of Homeland Security. And I know targets all across this country which have recorded the same thing like I have on video, where it shows police making false reports when you try to report this. So interagency partnerships are likely behind this. And it could explain why many law enforcement associations are seeking CIA and FBI money, so that way they can do this and get paid for it. It's very wrong. Our government is turning very unconstitutional, and it's reaching the point where our government is looking more like a circus show. And it's embarrassing to me. It actually makes me feel bad to know that our government would turn a blind eye to these activities and allow people to hire groups involved in diversity and inclusion, radical feminists, LGBT, and transgender to harass grown men and follow them around with a bunch of veterans and harass them. And have it on video, where they try to systematically entrap and harass and go into stores and get store management to harass somebody, which is shopping with their families. When I lived in Austin, Texas, I went to the Human Rights Commission, and I went there with a stack of papers to talk about this activity, and they didn't want me to talk because the city commission, all these city commissions all across the U.S. are Citizens Corps partners. Did you know those are CIA contractors? They go into stores in Texas, they would harass me, and the sheriffs would sit outside and laugh, hoping to arrest me. They would bring paramedics, postal clerks, Medical Reserve Corps, police chiefs, volunteers in police service. They would flag people. They would turn a blind eye to these operations. So our police are turning corrupt. Our government is turning corrupt. And when I talked to the city hall in Austin, Texas, they just wanted to talk about for a whole hour how a man should be able to use a woman's bathroom and shower with them. Now, I'm nothing against these people if you want to be transgender, but I found it really weird while I'm there to share paperwork on activities which present pre-terrorism indicators, but instead they wanted to talk about for a whole hour this type of stuff. And the city hall told me I can go there. They invited me, told me, come here, we'll give you 2 minutes. Then they denied me when they seen those papers. So we have an illegal program operating all across this nation through the whole community-based approach movement, community policing, community engagement, public engagement, our veterans groups, our neighborhood watch is all turning corrupt. Everything related to the promotion of domestic terrorism and violence is being promoted within our country. We're using the same tactics we use on countries like Russia on Americans, and that's not right. We're allowing troops, military-grade stuff like tactics to be utilized on citizens. NLP, neurolinguistic programming, street theater, role players. I have a massive file here in Florida. It's thousands of papers showing veterans being used with top secret clearances. I've reached out to friends with top secret clearances. I grew up on a military base. What I'm documenting is astonishing to know that this could occur in our country. I hope you guys investigate it. I hope you guys can stop this mess. Americans are not the terrorists. As a matter of fact, I made a video a while back about a pen given to me by a World Trade Center relief worker. And the pen says Zim Israeli Shipping Company. It's a long story on how I got it. He didn't even realize it It came from a company tied to the Mossad. I never blamed them for it, but I made a video about it, and all of a sudden I started getting targeted by British people, CIA agents, and people that are into the LGBT and transgender stuff, using Stingray technology, harassing me in schools, confronting me with Freemasons to join this clandestine group. And they told me if I didn't join, I'd be targeted more. I said death was better than being a part of a group which harasses people. I don't harass people. I don't break laws. So that's all I want to share. God bless. Peace.